Hey everybody, thanks for spending some time again with me today. It was a weird day today. I started early and didn't have time for a warm-up, so excuse me, I'm going to warm up a little bit to start. And basically I'm just trying to get loose. So I'm going to start with Schlossberg number 5. Now I'm going to show you how I practice. I had a tentative attack. So I immediately stop, relax, envision the result that I want, the musical result in my mind, relax the body. That was a lot better. That means I'm going to go ahead. This one doesn't feel good, so I'm stopping. Now this is what I call meticulous practice. If I feel a discomfort and awkwardness, that could be psychological, it could be physical, it could be something that I am uncomfortable with in terms of the musical result. Stop. Picture what I want. You have to remember when you're doing these things, you already know how to play the trumpet. You're just trying to remember. That's really it. Charlie Schluter, my fine colleague from years ago, always used to say as he was warming up, time to go check the templates. And I really like that. That stuck with me because we have certain patterns that are associated with the sound. Patterns, physical patterns. Patterns of movement that are in our body. And all we're doing is we're seeing how close they are to where they should be. Now, you already know how to play the trumpet, I assume. If you're a beginner, this is probably not where you should spend your time, or maybe it is, I'm not sure. That's up to you. But in any case, if you're an experienced player at any level, this mental work is the most important way to practice. Now, I need to warm up some more, so I'm going to do something else. Now, I played just a couple of notes. Now I'm going to go into low register because the low register for me generally feels less confident because I spent most of my youth playing in the upper register. So, for what it's worth. Okay, here we go. Doing is correcting on the fly, so to speak. In other words, I notice a lot of things, and I'm sure this will be the case for you too. You notice things about the pitch, you notice things about the sound, you notice things about the feel. There can be hundreds of things that you become aware of, and your mind can be flitting around and kind of following each one of those things, and our natural tendency is to try and control it and bring it under our command. And what I'm actually doing is kind of the opposite. I'm letting go. It's kind of like pouring water. I'm letting the water flow in the direction that I'm imagining, in terms of the sound, in terms of the physical quality of the movement, the precision and the accuracy of the movement, and you can hear all of that in the sound. It's very cool. So I think we need to move along. So. I'm going to go to the next section. I could go higher, I could go lower, I could go louder, I could go softer, I could start adding articulation. And that's actually how I practice. So I might take one of these things that I was just playing switching to articulation using a K and a T some of the time. Now, once you've established a skill, you just gradually want to bring that skill in and incorporate it in what you've already established. When you check those templates and they're good, they're solid, enjoy it. And then your body remembers the sensation and associates that with the sound. Okay, number 7 starts moving to larger intervals. And that's where things get interesting. So I want you to observe for yourself how you change the pitch on the trumpet. Now, if you had to explain that, first you have to find out. So you have to observe, you have to watch. So I'll give you some hints, things to watch for. The trumpet is a very touchy instrument, in a sense. It requires high level of precision and very refined control because it's a small instrument. The larger the instrument gets, they get a little bit more forgiving. Of course, the more precision you bring, the higher your level of playing. So it's great to hear a tuba player, for instance, that plays with the agility and the precision of attack that you hear from a trumpet player. It's very rare, but it certainly is satisfying to hear it. Okay, so how do you change pitch? If I'm gonna play this exercise, okay, I'll warm up a little bit more. Here we go. So how am I changing the notes? I put the button down, right? But not on a lip slur. And that's where most people have problems. So there's a lot of mental stuff that's happening here. When you can actually experience for yourself how to change the note with complete control, you'll have mastered a great deal of trumpet playing. And it's doing these kinds of exercises helps you to do that. Okay, so how are we going to work on it? Well, let's look at what you might be doing. Some people change the pitch with the mouthpiece pressure. So if you look at my video on vibrato or vibrato therapy, both of them, you'll see that that's something that you can do. You just gently touch the horn and that movement creates more or less pressure of the mouthpiece and it changes the pitch. And you'll hear it on those videos. So I'm changing the pitch by half a step by changing the pressure just a tiny little bit. So that shows you how precise we have to be. You have to figure out how to settle into that flow of the music and keep that direct, stable connection between your chops and the mouthpiece without allowing that pressure to be changing all over the place. Now it may change through the range. It may change somewhat with articulation or with playing louder and softer. But you always have to have a positive, continuous direct contact that's stable. And so if you're changing the pressure a lot, try and stabilize that. I'm going to give you a little technique that I learned from the Chicago symphony players from my study with Chikowitz and Herseth. And they called it sing, buzz, play. So what I like to do is go through that procedure, especially when I'm feeling a little funky. You know, things are not right. I know and I can't figure out exactly what's going on. So I want to get loose. So, I play around with that. Get comfortable. What am I aiming for? Resonance. So if I go da da, that's not it. Your singing voice should be as much like your trumpet, like a trumpet, as it can be. You want to hear some good examples? There are hundreds of them, but the first name that popped into mind is Billie Holiday. Her voice was so focused and such powerful expression. She didn't have a big voice, but she had a focused voice. And what, like soul was in that voice. That's what you're trying to do. Now, I'm not a trained singer. I haven't had any vocal training at all. My brother was trained as an opera singer, but he didn't teach me anything. At any rate, you don't have to be a trained singer, and you don't have to have a great voice. Just let the air flow and let your vocal cords vibrate and see what resonance you can make. A hint, don't do it with your mouth closed. Say ha. That's your starting point. Work with it, all right? See what you can do. Now, I know I'm not trying to teach you how to sing because I don't know how to sing. But all I'm trying to do is encourage you to make resonance with the voice. Okay, let's say you got that going. Then I go ahead and buzz it on the mouthpiece. I can be working on a lot of things, but gentle resonance. How am I changing that pitch? Check it out for yourself. See how you're doing it. You could be changing it by using jaw compression. When you move your jaw. Again, if you go back to my vibrato videos, you'll see that that's a primary mechanism for controlling the sound, the timbre, and it can also be a mechanism for controlling the pitch. So I can change that note just by going da, ya. And I'm going to suggest that you not complicate things and don't do that. This gets difficult because most of us are changing pressure a little bit, changing the jaw a little bit, maybe changing how hard we're blowing a little bit, doing things with the tongue, the throat. It's so complicated that we can't figure out how to play the trumpet. So you want to reduce it. Keep the air the same. A continuously flowing, supported stream that's stable. Another hint, if you can feel your lip vibrating, if you can feel the actual tissue, where the air comes through, the aperture, the opening in your lip, as you're producing the sound, you can feel the quality of the vibration. Now, the lips are very sensitive, so you might be able to feel this. If you can't, don't worry about it. But keep probing with your mind to see how much you can feel, how much you can see. Observe yourself. Go to a mirror and do these kinds of things. This is meticulous practice, as I said, meticulous practice. You might be more comfortable in one register or one dynamic or another. As soon as you get comfortable producing the sound, go back and start exploring a little bit. And for me, this is like a game. So it's not follow the rules. It's not do it correctly. It's not make it sound right. It's like fun. How close can I get? It's like, you know, just see if you can hit the target. Just throw and see if you can hit the target. Okay, many other ways to change the pitch, but there's only one way that I recommend. And it's something that Schlossberg talks about in the beginning of his book, and Arbin talks about it in the beginning of his book. Clark mentions it as well, and most teachers talk about vowels or tongue levels, and this is a great area of controversy and confusion among players, and I'm not going to talk about it today, except to say that there's something that can happen on the inside of the mouth with the air completely even, the embouchure completely stable, the jaw completely stable, solid, the pressure completely the same, and yet you can change the pitch. When you learn that skill, interval work is going to be, and change, especially lip slurs, what we call lip slurs, is going to be easy for you to do. So I've given you a few things to think about and to try out on your own. Now, if you already know about these things, I want you to try and do a couple of things. Because everyone, I know I benefit from this kind of practice, so I think everybody can. So combine them and separate them. So concentrate only on the air. Forget about your lips. Forget about the pressure. Forget about your posture. Don't pay any attention to any of the, just concentrate on the flow of the air and the air stream. That's enough. Okay, then once you got that, and it's like, oh, that's cool. This is what happens to the sound when these things are changing or when they're staying the same. Then concentrate on how you're holding the instrument. Most people don't pay too much attention to that. Spend a few minutes just thinking about how easy it should be to hold the trumpet. It's just balancing on your hand. That's a whole area of discussion. Again, most people don't think about that. Posture is huge. Once you figure out the right position, the right posture for your body, the air moves so much more easily, both in and out of your body, and there's less tension because you're balancing. You're at the balance point. And then your whole body is resonating with the sound. And that's what you hear when you hear really great players play. So I hope these ideas will spark some curiosity on your part and encourage you to kind of get in and dig around in your own playing. Take your time. Be a very avid observer. Take notes. Record yourself when it's appropriate to do that. Do your own investigation, because that's the only way you're going to really learn how to play the trumpet. It's up to you. I'm just trying to save you a little bit of time here. Okay, go and enjoy your practice, and I'll see you the next time you're ready. Have a great day. Bye-bye.